Sacramento City, California. You're listening to The Second Column with Joe, Mike, Carlos, and Sean.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to The Second Column. We are joined this week by comedian Josh Meinderstsma. Josh, welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You guys are very kind. Thank you. I like it.
Josh is one of our favorite comedians here in LA. Sean, what were you going to say?
I actually
You hit that mic with purpose. I thought you had something to say.
I did, and I actually was hoping somebody noticed because I did pop right back after the applause to the mic.
I noticed. Josh Meinderstsma performs with the comedy group The Great Adventure. Last week we had his cast mate on, Kevin Ford.
Who?
Yeah, fellow cast member.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Kevin Hiccup Ford.
Remember the guy who hiccuped for 10 minutes at the end of the
that
show?
guy.
Producing maybe one of the most memorable endings to one
Nice
of our
guy.
shows. And
Big
good
shoes
guy.
to fill.
Still has the hiccups, by the
Still
way.
has the hiccups?
Yes,
Oh
still has
my
the hiccups.
gosh.
So we are joined here by Josh, one of our favorite improvisers and comedians here in town. He's going to help chime in. This week I wrote a column called The 7 Social Sins, and it's based on the fact that the Vatican released a list of new 7 sins that basically they're saying, these aren't the 7 deadly sins, but these are still pretty bad, and they're updated for modern times. So what I did was I took the 7 and I wrote about them. And my point of view wasn't so much to say whether they're right or wrong. It was more to just kind of like make fun of the whole notion.
They're already ridiculous.
Yeah, it's already ridiculous enough. So I just kind of like held a light up to it and said it would, just showed it to be even more ridiculous. So I just talked about how I like the old 7 deadly sins better for a lot of reasons, and I got into a couple other things too about the movie 7, which would have been much different if they were based on this this particular set of 7 sins.
I like 7 parts too.
Yeah, the 7 part 2 would be called 7.
Yeah, 7.
Another 7. I knew when I wrote that that was a very Carlos
Yes,
Carlos
I like
line.
it.
So that's what this week's column is about. So I hope you've read it before you listen to the podcast. You'll get more out of this. We're gonna go around the room and talk as we always do about the column and just kind of free form from there. We'll start with Mike because we never start with Mike.
That's
so
true.
I think we should start with Mike
And find out why.
It's very ominous.
Well, aside from the obvious, I think that
Wait, what's the obvious?
one of the sins is excessive wealth,
Yeah.
and I think that's pretty funny because the Catholic Church is probably one of the most wealthiest organizations in the world. And
no, they weren't
it seems
referring
like-
to them, Mike. They were referring to you.
right.
yeah, but
yeah.
it seems like they're sinning against themselves because they created the sin, but yet their organization is very rich and
right. Right. So yes, that is the.
But
obvious.
that's not a sin, though, I don't think.
What?
Hypocrisy, not a sin.
Oh,
So
well,
I
not
think
according to this list,
so
right?
yeah,
That's true.
I'm gonna write that down.
Correct. So, yeah, I agree, Mike. They're a very rich, wealthy, landowning organization, and they should definitely know better than to say things like that.
that's all I have to say.
He's not speaking it.
No, Mike had another story he was going to tell, and then we want to hear it. What was the other story you were going to tell?
I'll tell it later.
Oh,
Why?
come on.
I didn't want to hear that drivel. I wanted to hear what you really were going to say, which was you had a good story from when you were a kid.
Well, the Catholic Church in me has always been kind of a strange thing because when I was a kid, I was in Catholic school, and you had to go to confession like each week. When you're in Catholic school, that's what you have to do. But the weird thing that happened for me is I ran out of sins. So
you have to make them up. You have to make them up, right?
exactly.
Yeah,
So like I
had to do the
actually
same
went to
thing.
confession, like to the priest, and I made up sins because I knew I had to be there. I didn't give a shit, but I had to be there.
But did you the next week, did you get to go to confession and confess making up the sins and lying to a priest the previous
At
week?
least you had a
No.
sin.
Because I think you created a sin by making up the sins.
No, that's not.
it didn't-
No, that's
it
not a
didn't-
sin.
So what were your sins?
circle.
What were your sins that you made up?
I said that I actually one of them it says I curse God.
You cursed God.
That's one
Yeah.
of the lesser sins, though. Like,
It's-
wouldn't you just go for the gold?
Well, what, that I fornicated when I was like in 5th grade? Or
Yeah,
like,
well, if you're
I'm
gonna make
sorry-
it up anyways.
I'm sorry, priest. I committed adultery this week. Or and I was like pretty razor thin when I was a kid. Yes, I'm a glutton. And gluttony was my sin.
Go big or go home. That's what I
Yo.
say.
Or
Oh, I wasn't
tried-
referring to being fat. I was referring to in the.
I understand.
the
Oh,
line.
I
okay.
We all
tried
understood.
to. Yeah, I'm sorry, priest. I tried to covet my neighbor's wife.
Right.
Yeah.
Mrs. Henderson.
I looked at her the other day.
All right, I guess only it is
Jeez.
hard. I do understand the pressure when you get in there and you haven't done much with your life and you're 8 years old and you're supposed to do a confession. Like it's a real short confession. So Mike, I completely sympathize with you. I
It was
understand.
hard because, like, I mean, the priest would look at you like, and it's almost like he would look at you, and if you didn't have a good sin, you would let him down.
Yeah.
wastes-
And I would
he
get
wastes his
that
time.
feeling. So
Yeah.
I'd be like, I gotta have a really good sin, and get some good like Hail Marys in and some Our Fathers and all
Did you
that.
ever? Did you ever say like, oh, I had I touched myself?
Yeah, did you
No,
ever
I never
confess-
went that direction.
Did you
I
ever
think that's what he wanted to
Did you
hear.
ever
I was-
confess
I
the
was doing-
perpetual sin?
I was doing plenty of that, but it felt so good. I'm like, this can't be a sin.
I think
so I'm like, there's no way that I'm gonna admit to that shit.
I think the priest wanted to hear it too.
That's what he wanted. Oh, Carlos, now. True. Once again, Carlos has stumbled upon the truth.
You know how I accidentally stumbled onto masturbation?
Uh-oh.
Accidentally?
We have ladies. Yeah, because I think it's an instinct, right? I had never really known about what masturbation was. I'm sorry for all the ladies out there because I'm trying to class this thing up. But in me talking about masturbation and all, it's not.
Hey, lady.
But my first time masturbating, I actually I grabbed a pillow and
What do you mean?
What's that a code word for?
Right.
I grabbed a pillow, and I had been watching Joe Bob Briggs all night driving theater.
How old are you? Like 13?
Wait.
No, I was like 10.
So you're looking at a middle-aged guy the first time you...
No.
How does this?
Joe Bob Briggs, for all
We
the
know.
listeners
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
you
Right,
mentioned this.
Yep.
God forbid I should,
Mention it again.
yes. But, he, for those of you that haven't heard this, he ran some B movies with, like, guys and girls aardvarking.
Right.
What's
And-
that? What's aardvarking?
Well, for Josh, aardvarking was the term he used for screwing.
Is that a Midwest term?
It was like a code.
I don't know,
for
actually,
MTV, so
but I
instead of
thought it
saying
was one of the
screwing-
greatest terms ever made.
Yeah.
But you'd see this happening, and I'd be like, oh, well, it looks like they're enjoying themselves. It must feel like a certain way. So I had my pillow, and I used it in the positions that I saw it in, on film, and I just did the thing, and all of a sudden it just felt good.
Did you sleep on that pillow that night?
No, it was a pillow that was in the other room.
Did you put it back in the other room?
Yeah.
Oh.
Was
now
it a
that's
couch
something
pillow?
to confess about.
Yeah, now there's a sin. So your family was sitting on that pillow all year.
Yes.
On the pillow you violated.
Yes, it was on the pillow that I violated.
that's
But
sick.
what I'm saying is, it's
that's
amazing.
100 hair
No, but
areas.
what I'm
person.
saying is, it's amazing, like the how scientific it is, because like it's sort of biological. Like it was instinctual that I did that. It was instinctual that I just kept going to that moment when I exploded, and it felt really good.
I got to tell you.
And then all of a sudden,
Exploded.
I was hooked.
I gotta tell you, Mike's my roommate, and I'm afraid of the furniture right now. I don't want to sit on anything in this house that Mike might have had an eye on.
that's
This was when I was young.
Yeah,
So
okay,
you-
sure, okay.
So
I still do the deed to this day, but it's like
But it's not pillows anymore.
it's not pillows anymore. No,
Wow, so
now
you
I
have
just,
nothing to worry about.
I feel a
Yeah.
lot better now.
It's comforters.
now,
It's-
now I just use my imagination.
It's well, that's good. I'm
That's
glad you're not,
good.
glad
That's
you're not
good.
violating any of the furniture. That's
Imagination is key.
It's
yeah.
funny.
it's
Your story made me think of something. With making up stories, and then also with aardvarking. I had me and my girlfriend had broke up for a couple months, and in those months, there's this weird time when you break up with a girl where you're not really with her, but you don't really know. Like we'd been together for a really long time, so you didn't know if it was really ready to kind of move on, or you're in this weird kind of like holding pattern or something. And so I was kind of in that position, and I had this dream one night, and in this dream, like this beautiful, beautiful woman wanted to have sex with me, and she threw me on the floor and like ripped off all her clothes and was sitting on top of me naked. And I I was like, I can't do this. Like
Wow.
in the middle of it, you know what? I got my girlfriend and we're kind of in this weird thing. And I said all this in my dream and I lifted her up and put her on the side because it was my dream. So I was really strong.
You're strong.
So I lifted her up off of me and I sat her down and I started thinking to myself, still in the dream, like I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, look at this. I just turned down sex from this beautiful girl.
In your
like,
dream.
I'm so whipped to this girl that I'm not even dating. This is terrible. And then but I was thinking in my dream, I'm like, you know what? But this beautiful girl, she wanted to have sex with me. So I've got something going for me. This is great. And then I woke up and realized the only thing lamer than turning down sex from a beautiful girl when you don't have a girlfriend is turning it down and then realizing the girl never even really wanted to have sex with you because you were dreaming it.
About.
And it was like the lowest part of my life.
Perhaps that's the ultimate turn down or the ultimate dumping.
Yeah.
Who's dumping who?
What?
Well, you were dumping yourself in your dream.
Yes.
Just yes. Yes.
Well, in a way, you
Right.
were.
Yes.
Right. Yes. Correct.
Yes. Yeah.
Dare I say elaborate?
Oh no.
Well, no, you were about to have sex with this woman, you know?
Yes, that true.
And you turned her down, but isn't that you yourself turning down the opportunity? So you yourself turned yourself down. You cock blocked yourself.
I
in
did
your own
cock
dream.
block
You
myself.
did. That's a better. That's
Yeah.
more clear.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a better
You
clarification.
know, I think if you would have had sex with her, it would have been like Freddy Krueger or something like that. You know, I could totally see that.
She would have turned into a
Yeah,
monster.
because that reminded me of like that Nightmare on Elm Street where the guy had like a total wet dream and almost like Freddy
Turned into Freddy
Krueger.
Krueger.
Yeah, so I remember like as a kid, I'm
Did
like,
that ruin wet dreams for you?
yeah,
for a
no,
while?
it ruined my masturbation part because I'm like, what the fuck, man? Just leave it alone for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
No, Freddy had to come in. Damn it.
And that's back before you had easy access to porn.
Yeah,
you
I know.
needed that movie.
Oh, I did. There was no
Yeah.
YouPorn or whatever porno
Yeah.
tube.
Porno tube.
Yeah, I think there's
I'm a
porn.
porno tube.
Is there porn?
Can we get them to sponsor
Yeah.
us?
Yeah. Okay. And now, just during the conversation, somewhere hopefully away from masturbating with yourself, Josh, did you have anything you wanted to throw in?
Oh.
Not in that last conversation.
Feel free to start a new string.
Okay. I was looking, if I may, at these new 7 sins,
Yes.
and I noticed they correlate to the old 7 sins. They're just said differently.
Yeah.
That's an interesting point.
I think you're onto something there.
Right. It's like a newer version. It's like New Coke sins. They like drug abuse. That's just glutton, right?
Yes.
And-
Kinda, yeah.
And greed is just excessive wealth.
Yes.
And wrath is just contributing to widening the divide between rich and poor.
in a sense.
So the Vatican is not really saying anything new. They're just saying it in a different way.
And they're
that
saying
would-
it with more words.
More words, yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah,
I think they're saying it with words that are more defined in our age.
right, like bioethical. Like there's no
Yeah.
bioethical, term back then.
Right. That's true.
What would be the closest example of any bioethical
Locust.
violation? back
Locust, maybe.
Yeah, thou shalt not stop locusts.
then? Locust is your answer for everything, Carlos.
Wow, yeah.
He read that page.
Yeah,
in
some
the
kind of like
Bible.
locust prevention program where God is trying to locust you and you stop the
Yeah.
locusts.
Uh-huh.
That would be the closest thing, I guess, you get to a bioethical concern.
Or the parting in the Red Sea.
the parting of the Red Sea, if it affected the fish and
Yeah, yeah.
migratory patterns.
You're just talking about scenes from that cartoon Prince of Egypt.
Well,
like
yeah.
everything you've said
It's a good
so far.
movie. It's on
That's
HBO.
something. Yeah.
It's on
That's
HBO
Carlos's.
Family.
That's Carlos's touchstone for
Yeah.
for all religion, basically.
Aren't these kind of? I think these are, even with more words, they seem a little more broad to me, because the original 7 sins kind of sound evil, like greed.
In the great old timey
sounds
words.
worse than excessive wealth. Like again, like something like a church. Like when I think excessive wealth, when I think the Vatican, like I don't think of an evil thing. Yeah, they're very wealthy, but they give a lot back
Sure,
and
sure.
they do this. But when I think greed, I don't equate greed to excessive wealth because of things like the Vatican, because I think the Vatican's much better than, say, something that's greedy. Greedy has that negative connotation.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like they got rid of the negative connotations in a lot of these. Like even morally dubious. Like that dubious isn't even really like a strong bad word. It's like dubious, yeah, it could go either way. Like,
Dubious is kind of a fun word.
yeah, it's not. You know, where it's like glutton. It's like all right,
like
that's
like
bad.
no morally dubious shenanigans. Oh,
Yeah.
Catholic Church.
when I hear the word dubious, it reminds me of The Big Lebowski. That's what I
Yes.
picture. Like, hey, dude, don't be so dubious. Stop peeing on my rug.
Do you ever meet somebody who hates that movie and get mad that they hate that movie? I do.
Who?
I always feel like they're judging me.
What? Because you like the movie?
Because I like that movie so much.
You know, it's funny. I only saw that movie one time when it came out in the movie theater, and I have because it played in my college, just like a sneak preview.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a Big Lebowski T-shirt that they were giving away with all the characters on the back. But my only memory is of watching that movie one time. So when people like have flashbacks to it and they talk about it, I'm like, what part of the movie was that? So I need to watch that movie again. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that people wear on their sleeve. It's one of those like
Oh, yeah.
cultural demarcation. Like you're either with this movie or
It's a
against
cult
this
film.
movie. It's a
Yeah,
cult
it's
film.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan. I would
Well,
say.
you know they
Yeah.
have those Big Lebowski like weekends.
They do.
Have you been to those or seen about
I have
those?
not been to those, but I read a story last year where a whole bunch of people got together to celebrate
And they all hang out at the bowling alley.
all things
They do the
Lebowski.
whole thing.
And
yeah.
they cremate somebody.
Throw them off a cliff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the whole was it nihilists?
Yeah, the nihilists, the
Yeah.
angry nihilists.
That's something I want to be later.
Nihilist.
Not to mention Tara Reid's only watchable movie part ever.
Yeah.
You want to be a nihilist like later in?
Yeah, later when I get older.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to be a nihilist when you're like 80.
Be cool if you went from comedian to fireman to nihilist.
Yeah.
That would be a
balance.
hell
That's a
of a
life
career
lived.
arc.
That's
Josh
that's,
actually,
like,
Josh
hell of a
just
road.
recently tried out for the fireman.
He took a test.
He took a
Well,
test.
it was like
yeah.
a training.
the
It was like a
test.
training thing, and it was to see if you could qualify to be a fireman. And it's a very physical, strenuous activity, and I passed it, hungover, but it was
Yeah,
I like
fun.
that. I'll give him
I
that.
like how he passed it hungover. That's awesome.
When
'cause,
you were
like,
in-
you can do that. You can do
Like
anything.
most firemen, he was completely
Yep.
hungover. I don't know.
I don't know. Tonight's show is sponsored by the Policemen's Union.
Oh, uh-oh.
Zing.
You know and you ran the fucking marathon too.
Yeah, I did the LA Marathon a couple of weeks ago, and that was a lot of fun.
Now, what did you? I think I asked you about this before you ran it, but what was your pee situation? What did you end up doing for that?
You know, it was funny because I ate a lot and I drank a lot. I did not have to go
for 4 hours
for
and
4 hours
Yeah.
and 17 minutes. I didn't even feel the urge to go.
That's amazing because I can't go like 10 minutes in a normal life. I'm like a thimble.
I don't know what it was. Maybe because I was sweating out a lot of the liquid
sure
I
it
was
was.
pouring in. But yeah, it was great. I mean, I've lived in Los Angeles for about 5 years now, and I felt closer to Los Angeles doing this run than I have in the whole 5 years I've lived here.
I bet you did.
Like to the Angelinos, and I was running in parts of LA that I've never been in before,
Yeah.
and just running through areas where people were just excited to see you running and
Yes.
they'd cheer you on, and like guys would sit out in front of their houses with garden hoses spraying you down with water to cool you off.
In the
So
good way.
yeah, in a good way.
Yeah, right.
Not like spraying you down to get you off their lawn.
Right.
But it was great. I had a lot of fun.
That's cool. Not
Josh, you grew up in Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, when did you come to Los Angeles? How old were you?
I came to Los Angeles in my 24th year.
Wow. And I mean, what was your experience? Because like Los Angeles is obviously a very different place from
Right.
Hawaii.
Well, I visited here a while, and
Yeah.
from college, me and my friends would summer out here. We rented an apartment in Venice.
Leaving Hawaii for the summer, mind you.
I know.
Yes.
Like that.
Yeah.
It was it was nice to come out. I stayed in Hawaii for a while. During college, I'd come out here and we'd do shows every once in a while. We rented a theater up in North Hollywood off of Lancashire.
yeah.
There's a Goodwill up there, and just past it in that same little block was a theater, and it was run by this guy. He was a tranny.
Of course he was.
Yeah.
What was his? I'm trying to remember the name.
Sheila Steven?
No, the name.
Miss Divine.
It was this guy, and he wanted us to call him like Roberta,
It's a good name.
but his real name was Robert.
Oh.
And he was a pre-op, and he would wear dresses and makeup, but he was still like
man.
ripped.
Yeah, he was still a
ripped
man
as like a
underneath, yeah.
man with these dresses, and we'd have to like lift all this furniture and stuff. So he'd like lift up these couches and chairs and.
Did he talk like a
and whole
man?
Parts. Yeah, he talked like a man. And funny thing was, he was in Star Trek. He had a big role in Star Trek once.
The original Star Trek?
Like the Deep Space Nine kind of Star
Okay.
Trek, or one of those. And so he showed us pictures of when he would go to these Star Trek conventions, signing autographs for these people, and
Dude.
Would he sign him Roberta or Robert?
Beam me up.
it was, but it was sort of sad because he had some kids that were taken away from him from his wife because I guess
Star Trek?
The wife thought that it wasn't a good image to have a father who
She
was
just
going
didn't,
to be
didn't want another woman in the
tranny.
house.
Yeah.
Most women are very competitive like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was my brief experience with Los Angeles. out
Right,
here
and yet you
summer.
came back, which is amazing.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
came back,
and it just got more normal after that. I'm sure. So we should also mention Josh continues that tradition. He and his buddies still rent out a theater every Saturday night. Only now it's in Hollywood at the Gardner
Yeah,
Stages.
it's up on Sunset by the Guitar Center.
Yeah, which is cool. Which is a good show, and you guys have been doing that for a long time now too.
Yeah, we've been doing that show there from 9 months or
Yeah, and
8
before
months.
that you were doing another show.
Before
somewhere
that,
else,
we were at another place, the Next Stage on La Brea and Sunset.
where I think we saw what may have been one of our favorite scenes of all time, and this was the old at the Next Stage.
Oh, yeah.
Was a scene, and Josh, I don't know if you remember this or not, but this is just a great show. You guys did a scene in the show where you guys were building a dam, and there was a flood coming into town, and someone had a flashlight shovel for no reason at all. Anyway, the scene just built up ridiculously, and at one point somebody said, "Oh my God, I can't believe it's raining so bad." And I think, was it Josh that held up the fan?
Oh yeah,
And you just dumped bottled water into the fan and sprayed the entire stage.
that's funny.
yeah.
With,
just to make it look like rain. and water, yeah.
Which in improv you're supposed to just like pretend it's raining.
Right.
But Josh showered all of his castmates with
But my favorite was then you threw the water bottle
At
I think it was Jeff.
Jeff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at his balls.
Yeah, and then it hit him.
Yes.
Right.
And then Jeff got mad, so he threw one of the fans at me.
at you. He threw a fan at you on stage.
An entire fan.
Yeah, that ranked up there, and that was our first favorite Great Adventure show. You guys were throwing fans.
There
at
have
each
been
other.
many.
Yeah,
And then later on in the show, somebody goes, "It's still raining," and you guys just start throwing water bottles at each other instead of water. So
One
Yeah.
thing that we didn't bring up last week that maybe we should have as a good memory at that stage is I believe that there was a wrestling match
oh man, when Kevin
between
wrestled
Kevin Ford, our guest
yeah,
from last
that would be
week,
great
and
to bring
Carlos.
up this
Our very own Carlos.
Well, we'll
got
wait
his
till Kevin
ass
comes
kicked.
back.
That was so good.
I had $10 on you.
I had
Lowe's.
$2. I lost $2 to Sloniker. I can't believe Sloniker wanted to bet so bad. He bet me $2.
I was standing there. These guys are wrestling. And I was standing there going, I can't believe that we're gonna have to tell a story to paramedics. Like 3 times I thought that Carlos was
Really?
gonna
What's the
break his
thing
neck.
that you guys, Carlos and our last week's guest Kevin wrestled on a stage, but the stage was about 10 feet by 15 feet, but there were about 10 or 15 chairs on at the same time.
Filled with chairs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, someone by all rights should have gone down.
Should have gotten their
Yeah.
neck
Yep.
broken, their back broken.
Yep.
Something.
I was very drunk, and it was funny because every time I would wrestle Kevin, I would keep thinking like, oh, I'm gonna kick this guy's ass, and then later on I'm like, oh wait, we're just wrestling, right? Yeah. So I threw him into the whole like this sea
Bank
of
of
chairs,
chairs, yeah.
and I saw him laid out, and I backed off, and I go, oh, that's a bad one.
After the whole thing, like you got up
Yeah.
and there was just this single drop of blood.
Yeah, it was
That
like in my
dripped down from your
mouth.
mouth.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh
Never-
yeah.
Wow.
you
Cause
bled.
he like, I don't know if, I think he grabbed my mouth and it just like scratched my lip or
Yeah.
inside
That
of
sounds like Kevin.
it. Yeah.
I remember too. I remember like I was like, Carlos, you okay? And Carlos is like, he had retard strength.
He did.
I know.
It was amazing.
I know. And now that very same guy will invite you to go to his house and watch cartoons and smoke pot with him
Pot, yeah.
if you want to. Anytime
No, we
you
don't,
want.
it was just professional.
It was a
professional
good. It was
fight.
professional. It was
We're keeping it
professional.
even.
It was.
There was nothing professional
But,
about that fight.
Yeah.
Josh, you mentioned to me before that you're not very religious. What were you raised with? Were you raised with religion at all, or were you?
No, I was it's called a C and Ear.
Christmas and Easter.
Christmas and Easter.
Ah.
If we had Easter in Hawaii, we would go to this morning mass, I guess, because we live so close to the beach. We would go down to the beach and there'd be this ceremony before the sun would rise, and we'd listen to some guy talk. And
A priest?
yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. Some guy.
Okay.
And we'd look at the sunrise, and I'd be very sleepy.
How
And-
early is that mass?
Like 6:30.
Wow.
Wow.
All right. So it's
But when I
dedicated.
say mass, it's like 12 people sitting on a beach.
Right.
You know?
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and then one guy would stand where the sun would rise, and so you'd see the sunrise behind him.
So
And
it'd
when
be,
I was so young, I wasn't really paying attention to what he was saying. I was just like, oh, that's a pretty sun rising coming over the ocean there.
And he'd be silhouetted against it.
That's a great advertisement for religion.
Yeah, and
Like,
you only
while
did
this
it-
guy talks, the sun comes
Sun
up.
comes
But
up.
I mean, you
It's
only
on the
did that
beach.
twice a year. If that's what mass was for me when growing up, like I would have been there every week. If it was
Right.
like 12 people sitting on a beach as the sun rises.
Hanging
I
out.
think it's
Yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. And then afterwards, we'd stay down at the beach and build sandcastles and stuff.
Yeah, I would have been. I'm there. I don't care what religion it is. I'm signed up if that's my religion.
But one of the Christmases, though, I spent it in Arizona in Ahwatukee. It's like a little community outside of Phoenix, and I was about 13 or 14 years old, and it was the day before Christmas where they have like the ceremony, and we went to this little church there, and the whole place was packed, and we got there a little late, so we had to stand in the back, and they were doing the offerings on the altar there, where they'd have like the chest and like the wine and the sacrament, and I was so young. And I don't know what made me want to do it, but I walked up when they were about to start, and I asked them if they needed help with something. And one of the ladies, she's like, yeah, hold this box. And it was like it was like a wooden box with like gold leaf on it and like a hook and stuff. And so I was actually in the procession. So I would hold the box, and we'd march through the center of the whole church there. And once we got on the stage right in front of the altar there, we got into like these rows, and I didn't know what I was doing. They were placing me in these rows, and my parents were like, "What are you doing?" And I was on stage, and there's like a 300-seat church, and then they started singing these spirituals.
Wow.
And I just started singing with them, and because they had the books laid out, and we would go through it, and my parents after, they're like, where did you learn how to do that? Because we didn't teach you religion.
Wow.
Yeah, so we still talk about that to this day around Christmas time. The fact that I went up there and wanted to be in this ceremony.
Yeah.
That I kind of forced myself on them. But I just said in a nice way, hey, do you need some help?
Yeah.
With it, and the lady was nice enough to offer me a wooden box to hold.
That's great.
That's what I
Should have
do.
put your penis in that. box.
Why? No, why would he do that?
Yeah.
I was 13 years old at the
Yeah.
time.
Was that? Oh, okay.
He did that later, probably.
Later on in life, yeah. No, like,
Right.
Yeah, later on, I put.
Oh, what was that?
Hold on.
Come on.
I don't know who's gonna listen to this. Part.
There's people around the world,
We got
around
people
the world.
in a couple different countries.
Do you have people in Canada?
We have not, as far as we know,
It's the
no.
only country I think.
No, as far as we know, no. But
Actually, no.
a
Canada?
couple in Asia, couple across the U.S., a lot of different states in the U.S.
I can find you a Canadian to listen to this.
That'd be
Oh, that'd
fantastic.
be fantastic. Yeah,
Right.
we're always looking to
Help our marketing.
Yeah.
We'd love to get in Canada.
She's a girl actually that I met in Italy.
Really?
When I went on my trip to Italy last.
You did a huge tour last year.
You did
yeah.
a long trip.
It was 2006. Yeah, I went to my brother got married in Greece.
That's right.
In
That's
Crete.
great.
And then I went to parts of Greece by myself, Ios, Mykonos, and Santorini, whatnot. And then I took a ferry over to Italy, and I saw Italy all by myself. But up in Venice is where I met this Canadian girl. And, was it Venice? No, Cinque Terre. I met her there. We spent a couple of days there.
Hot check.
She's cute.
Yeah.
We didn't.
The more details you can give to Carlos, the better.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
We didn't do anything. If that's.
Oh
what
no,
you're
no.
saying.
I mean, I was thinking about.
She's
that.
like
Just on her visuals.
She's like a young. She's like a young Andy McDowell.
Oh, there, that's a good
that's
look.
nice.
That's a good look for a
Nice.
girl.
But
Nice. Very
but
nice.
she's a comedian, and I didn't know this until after. But she has the weirdest videos.
Really?
on her MySpace page.
Like, what's one of them?
Well, there's one video. It's called Sandy. And it starts off with like some French music, like the oh que c'est le tente foron ben, and it's this girl frolicking on the beach, and she's splashing among the waves and stuff, and then the music abruptly ends, and it goes to like that record, like where the record like where it hits the needle scratch,
Right.
and she looks down, and she steps on this syringe, this
Oh.
syringe.
Oh.
shit.
And she's like, oh, she throws it away, and then she's like, oh, so she thinks nothing of it. So it goes back to the music, and then she steps on another syringe,
Whoa.
and then man, and then it kind of cuts to like 'cause she's kind of running around now, and then it sees her on the ground, and she's like digging in the sand. And then it cuts to another clip of her like on the side, like foaming at the mouth.
Oh.
No.
So the Vatican is
like
right.
a rabid dog. That's
Oh
crazy.
yeah. Long story short, she becomes hooked on the drugs that were in the syringe.
Oh.
That's a comedy.
That she has these withdrawals from them.
And this was a comedy video,
It was
or
a
this
comedy
was something-
That's actually really
Yeah.
funny. I like that video.
And then so that was a funny one. And then she made like a part 2 one where she becomes like a used syringe dealer.
What? That's great.
Yeah. So I'll have to show you guys those.
Canadians always on the cutting edge with the comedy.
Her real name is Jennifer. Something. I have to
Is she on your MySpace?
She's
friends?
on my MySpace page. Her name is Jennifer.
All right. Well, Josh is a friend of Hero Style and Pangea, and so you can find Josh through us if you need to,
And me.
and Mike and Carlos and Sean
Yeah.
and all these guys.
Not you.
I am part of her style, you know.
I said Hero Style.
He
Well, yeah,
said,
but you're and
Oh.
Mike.
he said I'm Pangea, and he
I said
I'm Sean.
Pangea and Sean and you said and me, and I said yeah, and Sean and Carlos.
Oh, boy.
Well, I'm just saying you could get through the same thing. with her style.
All right, guys.
Oh, just by the way,
Josh has something to say.
Alright.
There's a podcast.
I
Coming
remember
on.
her last name. Her last name is Warren, so it's Jennifer Warren.
Okay.
So you look up that name.
I'm gonna write
in
that down.
Google.
Where does she live in Canada? Do you know which part of Canada?
Ontario,
Okay.
Toronto. No, Toronto.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very
Cool.
nice.
But going off on that tangent there, that's when I went to Rome. I actually went to the Vatican to have a trip
Oh,
there.
cool.
And it was great. I didn't know there's a if you've never been to the Vatican, there's a long line to get in. Even when they open in the morning, because there's like tour buses and groups and schools. And
Yeah, I
stuff.
heard that. It's like hard to get in.
So I had to wait almost an hour and a half just to get into the Vatican. So once you're in, it starts off in like the museum area, and you look at the artwork and the tapestries and stuff. And then from there, they kind of funnel you through the whole thing. So if you're in a group, you can't really turn around and go back because there's a lot of people coming towards you. And I wanted to look at the Sistine Chapel a number of times, and which I did. And I looked at it, and it's a lot smaller than you think it is. It's a small little chapel in the Vatican. But you're there, and you look up, and it's small, and everybody else is looking up, and you bump into people, and there's no photographs, and if there's a flash, there's a guy that says really loudly, "No flash, please."
Mustache?
Is it the Pope?
Is it Mario?
I think the Pope has better things to do.
Right.
Because he's sitting there. He's like, no
It'd be
flash.
great if it was the Pope.
It's part of the responsibility.
Yeah, it's part of the papal edict.
He's like, listen, that's part of my job.
I wonder why they can't. So they can't take photos?
No, it destroys
Flash,
the
yeah.
the pigment,
Oh, okay.
the paint,
Yeah.
and over
Alright.
time, and
Yeah.
also they actually limit the time you spend in there because the human breath can actually wear away the pigment
The
itself.
carbon dioxide, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
All the heat and moisture that our breaths give
Huh.
off.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So then they funnel you out, and
I love it.
Yeah, and it's a great museum. There's a lot of artwork, and down below they have a lineup of the Pope mobiles from the history of the
That's,
popes.
I'd like to see that.
That's correct.
So it started
That's cool.
off with like the wooden carriages and stuff, and then it gets like the car with the glass on it, and then there's a dune buggy Pope mobile.
Oh,
Dune buggy?
You serious?
Yeah.
That was
I don't
from
think I ever
that was from
remember
the
The 70s.
Pope John Paul the
Yeah.
Badass.
Yeah,
Right,
that's
1978.
exactly-
There's
yeah.
very
Right,
short.
yeah.
That was
1978 to
when-
1979.
when they were
like a
making those Pope exploitation movies.
Yeah, but died in a shark riding accident.
He had a
Wow,
big
it was sad.
sideburn. Big,
He was the Pope with the sideburns. Yeah, he was the Pope with the sideburns. People forget.
70s were a wacky.
They-
fucking time.
he went with Lonnie Anderson for a while.
He had a
Yeah.
tie-dyed kind of outfit.
I remember that Pope. He was pretty.
He was pretty cool.
great.
He
was pretty
actually
good Pope.
he didn't agree with these rules. Of,
No,
drug
no.
abuse. I mean,
No.
Come on.
He
His
was-
Southern Fried Rock album was amazing.
Yeah.
He was.
I loved it.
Very hairy Pope.
Yeah.
He was a very hairy Pope.
What do they call the hairy popes? Hirsute?
Hirsute
Yeah.
papal.
Hirsute papal
There you go.
majesties.
Majesties. Yeah.
There is a name. Wow, cool.
Or Pope Bears. Pope Bears for short sometimes. Pope Bear.
But you were saying when you were following some girls in the Vatican.
Were we going to talk about this?
Sure you can.
Oh,
Sure.
I don't know.
Talk about whatever you
Well,
like.
there were a number. There were a number of gorgeous women at the Vatican.
The Vatican
So,
has
you know,
hot chicks. Is what
They
we're saying.
have the
Yeah.
hottest
Wow.
chicks in all of Western Italy.
Really?
Score.
I would never guess that, but
No, I wouldn't.
No, there were some young girls looking at some artwork
Mm-hmm.
that I was quite taken with,
I'm sure.
and me being a lonely traveler, I went by myself. I like this is gonna sound weird and creepy,
It's all right.
but I kind of followed them around.
That's normal.
That's totally
In my
acceptable.
world, that's normal.
Yeah, in Carlos's world.
Yeah,
that's
you're not even
normal.
getting into Claros territory yet, so it's all right.
I followed
Yeah.
them around, and then when they would walk past me, I would try to make the eye contact with them
Oh.
to catch their eye. It worked one time when I had a cup of coffee at the cafeteria, which, by the way, the Vatican has a great cafeteria.
Starbucks?
No Starbucks, but they have great omelets.
Oh.
They have a great fromage omelet.
Cafeteria kind of
Oh no, it's like
like
gourmet.
Oh, wow.
It's gourmet. Make sure you get the cheese omelet when you go to the Vatican
Yeah.
and a cappuccino.
Yeah, that number 5 sin doesn't really work.
What was number 5 again?
What's it? It says contributing the widening the divide.
Divide. Yeah, exactly.
Between rich and poor.
Yes.
But try the omelet. That's I believe that's in the New Testament. That's
Try the omelet.
Corinthians 7:28.
Yeah,
I think. Try the
Corinthians,
cheese omelet.
Be
Ham-
kind and try the omelet.
Ham is optional.
There's a lot of the new versions of the Bible have a lot of meal suggestions while you're at the Vatican. So they try to get you in the gift shop in Leviticus.
Eat some fresh fruit for once in your life.
Quoth John. Exactly. Very good. Awesome, guys. I think it's about that time.
Has it been
Big
30
Mike.
minutes?
It's pretty, if not pretty darn close. So I think we're right
really?
around there.
No
Yep. Yeah,
way.
really.
We haven't
for
even
reals.
gotten to the second page.
I know. This often happens, Josh.
What'd you write on?
We get-
Oh wait, I had a question on Moonanite.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch Aqua Teen Hunger Force?
No, I've never.
Neither have
seen
I.
it.
I never saw it.
It's it's kind of a limited reference.
I
but
know
think
what it is.
Yep. I think it hits some of the audience that I write to.
That's a
but
weird example.
It's these
though.
little guys. They're the little two-dimensional. And they look like Atari characters. Sean,
Yeah.
you know who they are, right?
I know they were the ones that the guys pulled the prank on.
Yeah, they were
In
involved in that
Boston
big prank.
or-
Boston.
Yeah.
That's all I
So
know from
they're
them.
from the moon. They live inside the moon, and they're hundreds of years more advanced than the human race. And they're just rude and mean. So they're
As advanced people are.
right as you would expect.
Right. Coffee.
As you'd expect them to be. So and they talk very monotone, you know. And when they move, they go boop. Boop. So their being is very much like a very low res Atari 2600, and like all they want to do is like drink and smoke and steal stuff, and they come all the way from the moon to do that stuff.
And they're the advanced ones.
Yeah, they're the advanced
That's a good
races.
future for me.
Well, I was gonna say the Moonanite. When I first read it, it's like, oh, those are the Moonies, the Sun Young Moon
Right.
the
Different.
followers.
The
Yeah.
Different.
Wackos.
Yeah, different.
So that's what I thought you had originally written about, because
Right.
that would tie more into religion.
They used to have this deal. Whoa!
Oops.
Well, I guess we're almost
and
to the
that's the
aftermath.
last
Sorry about
person that ever criticized one of Joe's
Wow.
columns.
Yeah,
Was it
take
something I
that.
said?
Just real quick to finish up Josh's. When I lived in Washington D.C., like a friend of a friend was part of in North Korea, they would like fly you out there for free to take part in mass like Mooney ceremonies.
Wow.
You can go out there for you'd be out there for like 12 hours total. They'd fly you out there. You get off the plane. You go to some stadium. They marry you.
marry
You
you,
fly
yeah.
back. Like
Oh,
it was like that.
creepy.
But people would do it just for the exoticness of it, or
I
what
would do
have
it.
you.
Like 20,000 people would get married at one time.
At one time, yeah. Which I don't know. It's just
And they had one bouquet.
Oh,
it was a scrum when they applied for that.
that's awesome.
Yeah, that was
and one garter belt.
Oh,
And you had to guess which lady had the garter belt.
or man, I don't know.
Oh, man.
What are you talking? You had a guy who was.
Have you been to a wedding?
Yes. Yeah. Hey, man, I'm open-minded. All right. I don't know what's going on in Hawaii.
Okay, well, there's a lot of traditions in
Yeah, I could
weddings.
tell.
Yeah.
I could tell.
I'm going to a wedding next month at a horse ranch in Burbank.
that's cool.
Oh, the one like right off
Right
from,
off the thing. There.
Oh,
the
yeah.
134.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Do you have to do
It's
anything special?
Right
my-
by Travel
My
Town.
friend is getting married on a Friday.
Oh, I've
That's
been
tough.
there.
Because the weekends are more expensive.
Expensive.
to run down.
Yep.
So I got to take that Friday off from work. And but at least it's a 3-day drunken weekend.
Is he gonna ride in on a horse or?
No, he's very uncoordinated. Oh, by the way, I shouldn't say that. He's very coordinated. But funny thing, there's a new bar on Melrose and by the Pacific Design Center called the Villa.
Oh.
And originally it was a bar called Monroe's.
Oh.
And
I know that place.
And if you read the current issue of Us Weekly, which all of you do and subscribe to,
yes,
love
everyone.
I love it.
in the magazine it says the hip new place to be is called the Villa, formerly called Bailey's, which is my friend's name. So the magazine thought the bar's name was my friend's name instead of the bar called Monroe's.
Wait, how do they know your friend's name?
Because everybody called it Bailey's because he was the manager at the bar.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Instead of the real name, which was Monroe's.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so my
I
friend-
wish everywhere I went, somebody named it after me. That'd be cool.
Because everything is named after you in Cleveland, right?
Yes,
Joe's Diner,
most
Joe
things
City
in
Hall,
Joe Field, downtown.
Joe Car Wash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't we have like a Joe's Beanery here?
There,
That's Barney's Beanery.
Barney's.
Barney's. Same thing.
It would be better if it was Joe's Beanery.
Yeah.
There's something more simple about it. you
What's
know?
Beanery though? I mean, what's the fun?
It's a place where beans are churned and
And roasted.
roasted,
and accosted.
kebabbed.
I still don't understand.
Well, there's Joe's Garage.
Oh yeah.
It's true.
There's a Joe's Cafe down on Main Street in Santa
Is
Monica.
that Smoky Joe's Cafe?
No, it's just a regular
Joe's
Joe's,
Strip
Cafe.
Club?
So, is there a Joe's Strip Club?
I think so.
Probably.
You hope
Well,
Probably.
if someone
There's
would
probably,
know.
I mean, there has
come
to be a
on.
Mike's strip club.
you would hope so.
No, I wouldn't want to
don't
go
think
there. Mike's Strip Club.
You get a back rub from an ugly woman. It's the Mike Strip
Called
Club.
Mike's Personal Strip Club.
It's just
a
Mike.
pillow.
It's a naked pillow on stage.
Oh.
This reminds me, if we're talking about strip clubs,
Sure.
massage parlors kind of run into strip clubs, right?
Yes.
Kind of.
I went over by the Trader Joe's on Santa Monica, over by La Brea.
Yeah.
over
Yeah,
there
yeah.
by the burrito place.
Yeah.
And there's a place called WH Massage, and it's
Oh,
like this
yeah,
shady
yeah,
area.
yeah.
And I walk in,
WH.
and there's like a
West Hollywood.
there's like a single-sided mirror, like a sliding glass mirror door there, and this lady comes out, and I'm like, "Do you have like a menu of your services, like a list of all of your things that you do?"
Right.
And she's like, "No." And I'm like, "Well, how do I know what kind of massages you do? I want to get a massage." And she's like, "We do massage." I was like, "Yeah, I know, but,
Okay,
but
yeah.
what kind, and it was what prices
Yeah.
and how long?" And she's like, "Wait one moment." And so she goes back and gets another lady to come, and I'm like, "Do you have like a list of your services? I just want to get a massage." And she's like, "No." I have a business card, and so she gives me the business card, in which I have, and she's like, "It's $40 for a half an hour, or $60 for 1 hour."
Huh.
And she's like, "Yeah, we do deep tissue, we do sports massage, we do shiatsu." So I think I might go back.
All right. You should try it.
Those rates are very reasonable.
pretty
Yeah.
reasonable.
Well,
Those are
those,
very
those are
reasonable.
pretty normal rates for massage.
But
Yeah.
it was right next to that Russian tea place.
Yeah, yeah. I've
Yeah.
seen. I've seen
I like
it,
how
yeah.
this is becoming like an
I
episode
think-
of Huell Hauser.
I think if
it's
you-
definitely explaining the Hollywood area, places,
Yeah.
bars to go to.
Yeah.
If you ask for
Massage
something
parlor.
more, they might not be opposed to
Oh,
it.
trust
but-
me, you don't want anything
It's-
more.
You might blow their brains up by complicating the whole thing. I love that they don't have any kind of documentation.
I know. I wanted at least like a price list. They don't have
Right.
anything on paper.
What's your website? No.
Is
no.
it-
We're not a menu making
Is it
factory,
like-
Josh.
They had
We
a,
do
they had a
massages.
Under the table massage.
They-
or something. Jesus.
Josh is going through his wallet right now.
Oh,
See
Jesus.
if he can produce. I want to see if this is an actual business card or not.
No. Oh, but CVS did mess up my photographs.
Ooh.
Oh.
And so the manager wrote on the card, he didn't have it ready. He's like, "If regular process, free, okay?" And he put his name, George, at the CVS down in Marina Del Rey.
That's nice.
We have gone from Burbank to Marina Del Rey today on
To North
Traveling.
Hollywood.
And also, the photographs are from a trip that the Great Adventure took up to Sacramento. when
Sacramento.
we
Ooh,
did a
lovely.
trip at
The River
comedy
City.
spot there.
The River City, they call it.
So,
Really?
yeah,
Sacramento's the River City?
I think so.
I thought that was San Antonio.
I thought that was
too.
Pittsburgh.
No, it's Three Rivers.
Oh.
So
I was gonna say one thing
no.
that
Don't point.
Josh's story reminded me of. Joe and his brother Danny and I were walking to this bar in Santa Monica.
That was great.
And there was this massage parlor, and we were just walking down the street, and Danny seemed to notice that there were like two guys just standing out in the front with MK
No, they were plainclothes undercover detectives. So like regular looking guys with M16s
or M16 or
on the
AK-47s.
What,
It was
like
either
real
one of
guns?
those.
No, we don't have AK-47s. It was M16s.
M16
In Santa Monica?
In Santa Monica, on Santa Monica Boulevard. It was this place is at Santa Monica and like by my old house, like Santa Monica and like 15th, right around there. And yeah, what would happen? Because I read about it in the paper the next day, like the LA and all the local crime fighting forces, they cracked down on like every single illegal massage parlor in the city, like on one day.
Wow.
And so, because when I was driving home that day from work, I passed a place on Lincoln, and that place was being raided. I saw a bunch of cops like running in full gear, and I was like, "Wow, they're taking down a massage parlor." Danny and I and Mike got together. We walked to the sports bar near the house, and we're just walking past this nondescript. There was like barely. I don't think there was a sign on this place. Like that shady.
It was like Ocean Massage or something like that.
Yeah. And
Nice.
and there's a cop just standing out. We hope he was a cop. He's just a guy with an M16 standing.
Well, that's the thing. Like
Probably a
Danny got
cop.
scared at first, and he's like, "Hold on, guys, we got to stop." And then we're like, "Holy shit, these guys have like automatic weapons."
So I went. Can we walk by here? Is that okay, or are we gonna get shot? And the guy's like, "No, you're fine."
Don't worry.
He was totally cool with us walking by.
Isn't
so.
it a poor use of
No, but
M16s
my
to bring them
favorite-
outside a massage parlor?
I think
No.
so. Yeah.
My favorite thing was like, the guy's like, "Yeah, where are you guys going?" And then Danny's like, "Not in there."
yeah.
Everybody laughed.
We're not going in that place that you just raided. So yeah, every time I walk by that place too, I'd always be looking in like, I wonder what they're doing in there.
But what's the
you
guy?
know.
What's the person in the massage parlor going to do that warrants the M16? That warrants the
I
bigger,
don't know.
more automatic
I
gun?
don't know. They were just, they're in a stakeout or whatever.
If anything,
Some takeout.
Aren't
I
some of
just
them
think of
fronts-
Richard Dreyfuss.
What's that?
Aren't some of them fronts
Yeah,
for
Mafia and organized crime and
Yakuza?
Oh,
Yakuza.
Yeah, every
And
I was just thinking. I was
porn.
just thinking hand jobs.
Russia.
That's
Yeah,
why.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
maybe it does warrant the automatic weapons.
They
too.
might snap a towel at the cops.
Yeah, that's what I was figuring.
Yeah.
Whoa, jeez.
All right.
Sorry, I keep
Make you a little quick on the trigger there, Mike.
Yeah, what are you trying to do, man? You trying to give us a hint?
That's all right. I think we should probably start to wrap things up.
Yes.
But just by, has anybody ever gotten a massage?
Not like
like a
bad-
regular massage.
a
Yeah.
regular
regular
massage,
massage.
not like a bad.
Not like a happy ending.
When we were in
No,
when we
okay,
were
so
in
you got
Tokyo,
one.
we got offered bad massages like all the time.
What's a bad massage?
Well, you know, like adult massage, happy
Like a-
ending.
like
For some reason,
like a big boy massage.
Like a big boy massage.
for some reason, they like Joe better than like me because
Yeah.
they kept offering him all.
No,
the
well,
stuff.
they, no,
Oh,
they,
you
they-
big boy.
no,
You need big
they
boy
would,
massage.
They would rub my head. They would rub my head and they would go, massagey, massagey. That's what they would do. They would rub my head. That's why they liked me, because I had the approachable head. Very welcoming head.
It's for the people out there who can't see his head.
Describe it.
It's very shiny
Oh,
It is very shiny.
and glistening.
It's glistening.
It's devoid of hair though.
It is completely devoid of
it's
hair.
healthy though.
Yeah, thank you, Carlos. I
Yeah,
appreciate
that's-
that.
yeah.
So yeah,
It's a very healthy, non-hairy head.
Mike and I got our big Japanese massages in a train station in Japan. We're like, we
Very
got to
public
get a
place.
massage before we go, and it was like, where can we go in this little town? Train station.
Wait, what town? What town?
Tottori.
We were in Tottori on the western coast of Japan.
Wait, who went to Japan together?
Me
Joe and I.
and we visited his buddy Dave. This is like 2005.
Oh, I remember this. Okay, you guys
Yeah, it's
told
like
me this.
2005. Yeah. So yeah, we got ours in a train station, which was.
Was it good?
It was a great massage, but it was so weird because it was like the only thing separating us from the like candy store next door was like one of those movable partitions, you know?
Oh yeah,
It
Of
wasn't
rice
very
paper?
intimate.
Yeah. It wasn't the most intimate experience.
Not that that's what we're looking for.
You
but,
wanted
know.
it. You wanted.
It was like-
you wanted intimate massage.
It was 6 tables in a row, exactly, and it would have been the most awkward happy ending of all time. Like,
I thought about it though. Like I was in Japan. I'm like,
yeah, you'd be there
Maybe
in front
I
of
would-
20 people.
if I was offered a happy ending, I might do it.
You might miss your train.
Fuck the train.
And that, Josh, that's exactly why I didn't do it.
Yeah, see.
Mike,
Because I didn't want to miss the train.
Mike made the very strange request of the pillow massage.
Oh.
They didn't know how to follow through. On that one.
Way to bring it around.
Thank you. All right, now we've
Full
got some
circle.
closure. Now we've got some closure.
Now hit it.
So we've gone into some time here. I think we've gone into some time.
Now hit it.
Does everybody have a final thought? Sean, you're waving it off. Mike, did you have a final thought?
Sure.
Okay, Mike, let's hit you. Carlos, did you want to do one?
What? Final thought?
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna say that the whole Vatican's all fucked up. That's what I'm gonna say, basically.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
And I don't understand. Like I just don't understand. It's a lot of nerve. You know what I mean? Like in this day and age, like, hey, let's just do new sins and
Right.
bullshit.
It takes a
whatever.
lot of nerve to tell people. A lot of people are doing the wrong thing every day of their lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like what the? It's like
Yeah.
what we need the Vatican to tell us so it's wrong.
Driving in your car is a sin.
Yeah.
I know.
Hey.
Not for you,
No, well, no, I don't drive.
right?
Right.
But for the rest of us,
Yeah.
you actually probably are compliant with a lot of these.
Really? What?
I don't
Really?
know. Let's tick off the 7. What is Which one of these does Carlos break? Bioethical violations such as birth control. No, not a problem for you.
No.
Well, you don't use birth control?
No, I don't.
He's just out there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what do you mean? Like just like condoms or?
Right? Do you make girls wear the Depo?
Oh no, I never had that. I never did that. Just condoms.
There you go.
basically.
So
Yeah.
Carlos does take part in that.
But I mean,
All right.
it's been a while, so I.
There goes that theory.
Yeah.
All right, Carlos, do you do experiments on stem cell research? No.
No.
Can you describe a stem cell?
Drug abuse, yes.
What?
Polluting the environment,
I can't
no. Contributing to the widening divide, no. Carlos is a no on that one. Excessive wealth, you are a no on that one as well.
But wait a
Creating
second.
poverty,
If you're
no
if
on
you're very poor, are you contributing to the divide?
That's true. You're
Right.
making.
Yeah, you're not doing your share.
That's a
are you?
good point.
Yeah, unless you're middle
All right.
class, you're.
I take it
fucked.
back, Carlos. You were 5 for 7. Now you're 4 for 7.
What?
Not
Oh,
bad though.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Give it up. Mike, did you have a final thought?
Yeah, I think the number 7 is the best one. Creating poverty is the sin.
I love that one.
Because in my mind, it's like, well, I'm free of that because I'm not a ruthless dictator. So, like, if I'm not a ruthless dictator that's, taking over a country, I'm not creating poverty.
That's
So
one
I'm
down, yeah.
free of that.
But do they think like when they issue these sins, they say like when a ruthless dictator sees this, they're like, oh my god, what have I
Well,
been
I
doing?
think
I gotta
that's the
make some
funny thing.
changes.
that creating poverty, it only like
It's geared.
specifies itself to like a few select that are in that much of power that they could create poverty.
But if
you know?
those dictators tell 5 more dictators, and
Right.
those 5 dictators tell 5 dictators, you've changed the world. Sir.
Yeah.
possibly,
If you just
But I
touch one
think-
dictator.
I think something interesting about the Catholic Church is that I think something about the Catholic Church.
oh god.
I think something interesting about the church is that over time, their laws have changed, and the thing is, like in the early days of the Catholic Church, you just have you would have to go to mass for like 3 or 4 hours. Now, in these days, like this day and age, you go to mass for an hour. But why do they do that? Because they have to, they have to have a fellowship in order to make money, and they're going to change according to the times so that they can keep making money.
Right.
So nowadays, like, it's less strict. You only have to go to confession like maybe once every 6 months. You only have to go to mass for like an hour every Sunday.
Right.
And they changed with the times. And what I'm saying is they do have to change the times, because when I was very young and I first experienced masturbation,
Uh-huh.
He's bringing it. He's
It
bringing
was-
it
You
around.
touched your
Yeah.
dictator.
it was the single best experience for me other than having actual sex with a woman.
Really?
Yes, I enjoyed it that much.
I don't
and-
know about the.
and-
that
Let me
10 years,
finish.
that 15 years later, you brought it up twice in one podcast.
Let me finish. Let me finish. It was very enjoyable for me,
yes.
And I actually say, like, it's the greatest thing ever. And when I found out through science that masturbation is actually a tool that prevents you from getting prostate cancer,
Right.
because they said, like, if you masturbate, you're getting rid of all your
when does-
useless shit.
Right.
Let me finish.
Oh.
It
You
prevents
double pointed at me.
it prevents prostate cancer. So what did I do? I upped it to like 5 times a day,
Oh my god.
and I've been all the healthier for it.
No
I'm
wonder
not
you're-
going to get prostate
no
cancer.
wonder
But you will
your
get
eyesight-
arthritis sooner than everyone else.
Yeah. And your no
I'm not
wonder
going to
your
get prostate cancer.
and no wonder your eyesight too has been a little
Your eyesight
has been-
diminished over the few.
You remember that nun that was my teacher, the
What?
one that reminded me of Alan Hale?
Sister Gloria.
Yeah, she said
Yes.
that if you masturbate, you will possibly go blind.
Well, yeah, your eyesight's been shitty. Last
No, it hasn't.
Yeah, wait,
My
yeah,
eyesight's
no.
been pretty good.
No, you got glasses, right?
Yeah, I've seen you drive at night.
Yeah,
I was following you the other day. You started turning down the wrong street the other day when I was following you. When we were going to the Gardner stage, you turned in one street early, and then you hooked back out.
That's only because I wasn't paying attention.
all right. I saw
all
you.
right.
But I'm telling you, like,
Thinking about sex.
that's what, like,
Okay.
the Catholic Church changes with time, but they need to, if they really want to make a lot of money and they
Embrace
want to survive,
masturbation.
Embrace
embrace
masturbation.
masturbation.
But you always say masturbation is like the good. When has it been bad? Like when is a masturbation?
It never has. That's the thing. But it's been taught to you by the church. That it's bad.
I'll also note that Mike once again brought it back to disease by saying the reason he likes masturbation is because it avoids prostate cancer. So,
has anybody seen the movie Margot at the Wedding?
No,
Yeah.
I've heard of it, but I never
Jack
saw it.
Black and Nicole Kidman. There's a really hot scene where Nicole Kidman masturbates
really,
on her stomach.
Did she do prostate? Does that go with the women too?
I think it's
The
different
master-
with
Oh,
women.
does it prevent
so
prostate
they-
cancer?
I don't think
in
women have prostates.
But she
So it's
but she
wrong
does
for
it.
women to
She
do
does
it.
it for.
What do
for,
they do? What kind of
good amount of time.
what prevents a disease for women? I don't know. I don't want to say
being
yeast
fat.
yeast
Oh,
infection.
sorry, Josh. Did you have a final
A final thought.
parting thought here in the afternoon?
Well, I was gonna say the list that the Vatican put out. It's it seems like they're pandering to the middle class here. It's
Interesting.
Obvious.
Yes. I think
Yeah.
you're right. I
To
think you're right.
anybody
Mm.
who's taken a deeper look at it. They're trying to get more people to their church. Obviously, the outreach programs haven't been working. Their forays into Latin America, Asia have not been working. So they're reaching out, trying to change it for the folks of the new generation, if you will. And I don't think it'll work. If you ask me,
it's gonna backfire.
if you ask me, yeah. Well, I'm gonna say it's gonna backfire. It's not gonna catch on because everybody knows what's right and wrong.
Right.
They don't need somebody to tell them.
Right.
It's bad to be polluting the environment. Nobody needs to know that it's bad. But that's up to the person to decide on what level they will contribute to the pollution. Like sometimes, hey, I don't recycle an aluminum can, but other times I do. So like that one time where I don't put an aluminum can in a recycling bin, does that mean I'm polluting the environment? I mean, there's different levels, there's different shades here. So
Sure. You're not dumping toxic waste every day and
right, exactly. I mean, I don't think people need this moral, ethical compass that the Vatican gives them. I thought we were doing, pretty well without being told. I mean, the Vatican's track record hasn't been too good.
A little spotty lately.
Oh yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. But I do say I do love the way they choose the popes.
That is a cool process.
I love the enclaves.
That's a cool
the whole
process.
smoke and the
Yeah.
Locked room.
It's so dark.
30 old guys in a locked room.
Right.
Fire. It's a great process.
trying to decide
Right.
the fate of humanity.
Choosing the guy who's going to piss off the least amount of people in the room.
Right.
It's a great process.
I think the next pope after this pope dies in about 8 months.
Which is why they chose him, because he
Right.
was not going to be
He's a
around.
placeholder
No,
pope. He's a
yeah.
placeholder pope.
Yeah.
It'll be probably either an Asian or African American.
Yeah, that's what.
Supposed to be, yeah.
Well, African descent.
Or African.
Yeah, African.
No.
Right. What
Or
did I
Nige-
say?
You said African American, I think. No, maybe you didn't. Maybe that's what we heard.
Yeah.
Either way, it will be a person of, much like the Democratic primary this year, it will be a person of,
And the black.
well,
is
of course
the,
it could be a woman, but it may be a
I don't think the
person of
next
color.
pope will be a woman, though.
Probably not. I
Hey.
don't think we're ready for that.
and the black is the better pope.
is that,
It is.
according to Jimmy the Greek?
Jimmy the Greek said that.
Black is a better pope.
Isn't he dead?
I think he
Yeah,
did finally
yeah.
pass away.
Yeah, fine.
After spending 25 years of his life as the racist guy.
Racial stereotypes.
That's a hard thing to live down, though.
That is a hard thing. Because they would play it on Howard Stern like every month
like
at least.
The black is the
the
better
better
athlete.
Nothing like catching a 75-year-old guy drunk at a sports award
Yeah.
dinner saying
Sorry.
what
It's
he's
like-
always thought.
It's like, okay, Jimmy. All right.
all right, it's enough. It's enough. No, I want to talk some more. I want to talk some more about your
I
black.
want to talk about their fast twist muscle fibers.
yeah. They don't float, but they can punch.
Can you imagine a female president, and a black pope? Wow.
That is some
Amazing.
world.
That is some world.
All right, it could happen.
Could happen very soon.
The Italians in New York would.
They're going back to Rome.
Yeah, I think so.
They'd be turning over in their grave before they're dead.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Well put.
Wow, that's quite an enigma.
Well put.
That is Mike.
Mike is an enigma. All right, Josh. Anything you want to plug here? Any projects or videos or anything you want to talk about?
Nothing I really want to plug.
Oh.
He's crossing things off his list right now.
I'm actually making my arrows longer. I do work for a company that develops websites. So if anybody out there needs a website developed, if you happen to be a real estate agent or a mortgage broker, I can help you put together a nice-looking website that'll help you maximize your business, especially among the search engine optimization vehicles out there on the internet. Of course. And help you with the internet marketing department of said choice.
Wow.
Said anything is fine.
No, that's the most sophisticated plug we've ever had.
That's the most eyebrow
business.
respectable plug.
Yeah, Kevin plugged an incomplete internet cartoon.
Agent. Bear.
But I will say, go check out The Great Adventure when you get a chance. I don't know if I'm going to remount Letters to Kobe or Letters to Dick.
Mm-hmm. What was that?
By the way, Letters to Kobe was a great one-man show that we saw.
Yeah.
I'll let Josh describe it.
I had a friend of mine worked for Kobe Bryant, and her job was to read all of his fan mail. And she read some letters, and she would read them and give the good ones to Kobe, and I guess the weird ones she'd keep. And she gave me like 2 boxes of letters, like 300 letters. And some of them weren't opened, and I had to go through some of them. And I went through all of the letters, and I found the weirdest, strangest letters you could think of that any normal fan person would send to Kobe Bryant. And I made a 40-minute show out of it, where I just read the letters, and I show the photos that they send in, and the drawings they make, and the crazy inventions that they wanted to devise with Kobe Bryant's help. And things they want autographed and whatnot.
Be a killer.
So I did that.
I still, to this day, Josh, say Kobe be a killer. Whenever I see him on TV, Kobe be a killer. Be like Jerry Stackhouse. Be a killer.
MJ would kill you.
MJ would kill. Oh, it's such a good letter.
So there's that. I just don't know if I want to remount that. If I do, it'll be a little bit more sleeker and more professional.
It's a good show.
Thank you.
It's a good show.
So there's that. I also have some videos on YouTube where I play the ukulele. Is that what I'm supposed to be plugging?
Sure. Whatever you want people to see or hear.
If you go to, I'm trying to get 1 million hits on my ukulele videos.
How's it going so far?
My Johnny Cash Ring of Fire is up to about 751 hits.
Wow.
So you're
and I've had it out
999,229 short.
And I've had it out since like early January. So I think it's gonna hit its stride, midsummer.
Yeah.
Where it's really going to take off. But if you want to look at those videos, I also do cover versions of Rocket Man by Elton John.
Ooh, cool.
Sitting on the Dock of the Bay by Otis Redding. Chelsea Hotel No. 2 by Leonard Cohen. And Hallelujah also by Leonard Cohen. I'm going to add some more. I'm going to add Radiohead and Roger Miller coming up.
Wow.
But if you want to look on YouTube, it's my first initial, which is J. And the first 8 letters of my last name, so which is Meindert, so it's Meindert. It's J Meindert. You can just put that in YouTube, and it'll come up with the videos. I also have clips of my letters to Kobe on there too.
Cool,
great.
Can you do a request? Can I do a Skinner?
Sure. Yeah.
Sweet Home Alabama.
Yeah. If you write it, you have
That
to.
smell.
If you subscribe and you want to request, I'll do it.
Oh, cool.
On the ukulele.
I like that.
And it's good ukulele too. We've heard his ukulele live.
Yeah.
It's good rocking.
Awesome stuff.
People clap along. They sing. They have a good time.
It's fun.
You do a religious song sometimes too. You did a
Right, I did a
Kobe.
religious song during the Letters to Kobe
Yeah, it was
show.
very
It's,
good.
called Just a Closer Walk.
Yeah, it was
with
good.
So I think that might be a good video to make on YouTube, right?
I think so.
Probably.
Yeah. And you got that off of one of the letters to Kobe. It was actually written on the back.
Somebody wrote that. Yeah, it was a handwritten letter on one side, and when I turned it over, it had half of the lyrics and music to this spiritual. So I thought that'd be fun to play because I've never heard that song before.
It was good.
Before playing it.
Somebody in church wanted to write to Kobe
Wanted
so
to
bad
write-
they couldn't wait to get home.
Kobe, I want your autograph.
Be a killer.
I love that guy, whoever he is. All right, very good. That's all we have for the second column this week. Do you have one more?
No, I just wanted to say thank you guys for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
Josh.
It was
Thank
really
you.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You brought some much needed sanity to the craziness.
I
that was.
tried to use my broadcasting voice because I did earn a degree in broadcast journalism
Could tell.
at Arizona State.
It's kind of crazy because you usually bring the crazy to
Great adventure.
Great Adventure, but you brought the sanity
Tonight.
to
That's
our
range,
podcast.
Mike. That is range that man.
Wow.
has.
Yeah,
That is
that's
range.
that's depth.
Thank
Depth.
you.
Mike's favorite word.
Depth.
Depth.
Yeah.
Depth.
It's not Depp. like Johnny Depp.
Not Johnny Depp.
Depp.
But Depp.
All right, very
Depp.
good, very good. All
Thank
right.
you guys. I appreciate
No
it.
problem, Josh. Thanks for coming on, and we love Josh. We love all the guys in the Great Adventure, and that's it. We'll be back next week with more dubious shenanigans from the second column.
That's all for this episode of The Second Column. For more information, go to joedonatelli.com.